Good morning, welcome to Morning Outlook. This is Kim speaking on Tuesday, the 10th of April. So, looking at the Eurodollar first, and well, yesterday we managed to see a continuation of this sort of bounce off this major trend line here. It ran through quite a few targets. I expected it to go if it did run up there. It's actually sitting back, no surprise, into the monthly pivot or around that region at the moment. And as we come down the time frames here, um, yeah, I guess that was a good enough bull flag there yesterday, and well, it may be just producing a similar move here. We'll see as we run through this morning. Um, it's in a tight range here. Solid old movement up at the moment pre 8 o'clock. I'm a bit wary of them, these moves sometimes. Other times, yeah, sure, they set off for the day, but I would personally prefer to see this ride its way out. Has come off its daily pivot though. Tick that box for sure. Sorry, it's the 30-minute time frame. Let me just change to 60 so I can fully see what I'm looking at. There we go. But erring on the bullish side at the moment. It's certainly, as I say, looks similarish to yesterday and may well push up onwards. One thing we have got now, which is quite useful, if it does start looking at any time like it's fading, we have got a decent trend line to the lower side there now to confirm such a move. It has put a lower high in again. It did that yesterday, but then chipped up and well, it did actually do it properly yesterday. It did it initially on a spike of news, and then did it properly later in the day. It gave a lower high, but still pushed up, and it may just be doing the same thing here. We'll see how it runs us through this morning, but a bit early for me at the moment, but it does look, as I say, erring on the bullish side. Let's have a look at cable. Cable 2, it's got the untouched weekly pivot below us, which may be a draw at some point. Let's look at the price action here on the 4 hour. It's still positive. I was more positive on it yesterday, and it did eventually break out of last week's highs there, which was stuck around that weekly pivot. It just couldn't break the weekly pivot last week. Well, it certainly has now, and it's let's say pushing on relatively strong as well this morning so far. And again, you've sort of seen this retracement to the pivot there, and it may be just on its way. We'll see how it pans out as we go through this morning. Of course, this current trend line I've got on here, well, without date now, we'll probably put it to the nearest candle there, reshape it a little as it's walked through it sideways. We'll see how this runs, but at the moment, again, looking bullish at this moment. A break of this trend line here would see a change of thought on this. And as I said, if it does start selling off at one point or other, we do have the weeklies to come back to. Dollar yen, well, ironically, still softening a little bit at the moment. It did this yesterday, then rolled over. It was pushing up initially, rolled over later, tested the weekly pivot. It's now broken the sort of a short-term trend that's running across there. I can bring the hourly in. It's probably easier to see this. Did draw it on, but there was a trend line across the highs here, which is broken at the moment. It has been held up by large option positioning and quite a few times recently. It may well get stuck again as it's already pushed up quite strongly through today. It may just become a bit more range bound. I wouldn't be totally shocked. With all these currencies, we have very little news out. In fact, we got the US PPI figure out later on, and that's the only thing. So producer price index, which gives us a feel of inflation, but it's not anywhere near as important as the CPI and the consumer price index. Aussie dollar, well, we've seen a push back up towards its monthly pivot here. So it's one of the few that sort of actually hasn't already run through to the monthly pivot. Running through to the monthly pivot at the moment, not far off. It has been the weakest pairing. It may give opportunities to sell into at some point short term. I mentioned it yesterday that it was maybe putting a slightly higher the chance of hitting this monthly pivot, but by doing so it puts a higher low in, slightly higher low in at least. So we'll see how it pans out, but it's ticked the boxes, hit the weekly. Hasn't caught its daily today, but it's marched on regardless. It's business confidence was okay earlier, and nothing massive there. I mean, there's no real data movement to create any volatility here. So as I say, it is a moment heading towards that monthly pivot. And finally, the Canadian dollar, well, continues to gain strength against the US dollar here. Momentum picking up even stronger now. Again, yesterday, as it was heading towards that monthly pivot, which could have been a sell point, although it had been so choppy leading up to that, it made it difficult. Whether it was going to just push on through or what it was going to do, but it did become quite a key point in terms of reversal. But now, well, selling off relatively strong, slowed down a little bit through the Asian session as most of these markets have, but at the moment selling off again at the moment. So US dollar seems to be showing weakness across the whole of the markets. So that's pretty much it for me. I just also noticed there is a speaker this morning, MPC speaker at 10:30, due to speak about the role of central banks and society no, they ain't going to do too much, I don't think. So that's it for me. Have a great one. Bye for now.